Thanks for being here. And before I get into this, punch on that like button as it shows your support and appreciation for the various content featured here. Thank and I appreciate you. This channel is based on logic, common sense, doing the work, and not on continued stupidity.
He's just a child.
The phrase that makes wimps out of our black sons, mostly by the female species. All to find out later that she has screwed another young man up. Represented by his laziness, complacency, and wait on mama to do it for me mentality. This hits home for me as one of my very intelligent sons is a victim to this. So here's the rub. While we were a family unit, as per this thing called life, children are going to test the boundaries. It is our responsibility as parents to help children understand boundaries, limits, when to push them, and when not to push them. Seeing is believing for the human race, and so is feeling. When my sons did not adhere to verbal reprimand, I, as his father, stepped in, but the look of doom with belt in hand. Sometimes I did not have to use it, and others,
level up time.
Level up time was usually after all efforts were exhausted. As stated earlier, by my son seeing my displeasure at his behavior and appearing with a corporate punishment tool and not using it. It gave him a false sense of security, meaning that he thought that dad was a plaything. Ultimately, he found out the hard way. As my generation of parents said many times, hard head makes a sore ass. See, that's my point. I can recall my mother constantly repeating that phrase to me. And my brother, now that I think about it. It wasn't until she became fed up with repetition that my ass was whooped. After that, no more bad behavior and no more repetition for her. At least until the next episode. I know for sure that my dad would not have participated in repetition. He would have said what he needed to say, and when and if I did not adhere, here comes the boom. There is a far more critical issue with mothers allowing too much leeway in parenting. Fathers are guilty of this as well, but the ladies are leading
He's just a child
argument. See, life is not going to repeatedly say don't do that. The only repeat that pertains to life is that until you learn the lesson, you are doomed to repeat the pain until you get the gist. My son heard as a very young man, into his early teens, the debilitating phrase,
He's just a child.
It had irreparable damage on his psyche, meaning that his ability to see himself as a man was compromised. I'm not stating that he is not a man. Question is, what kind of man? I am stating that providing excuses over providing what's needed to compete in this country is not conducive to productive black people, especially males, because without certain amounts of reality in the house, the child then goes out into the world with the same mindset that the parent who provided excuses over reality and seeks that from a country that hates him. That is not good for the black ethnic background, male or female. This current society is proof positive of what it is of what's stated here. Soft as social currency seeking saps, believing that church, politics, praying is going to fix stupid and excuse making. Have a dose of this real pill. I would like to add that
He's just a child.
argument also becomes null and void when that child and or teen goes out into the world and starts to commit crimes. That law system, they don't treat him like a child, even though he may be. Lastly, the disservice done to our children by any family member guarantees that the child will be forever reliant and waiting for someone else to do the work for them. That's granted that the child has enough discernment to know and do better on their own by lessons that they conquer in life. And that's the reality.